From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, November 4th, 2014. Silver is trading at $16 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,169 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $330. Antiwar.com reports Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko has threatened to withdraw his government from a truce with Eastern secessionist rebels a day after the Easterners held an election for leaders of their breakaway republic. Poroshenko insisted that the election was a flagrant violation of the agreement and claimed to have already held talks with the defense ministry about the prospects of restarting the civil war. The war wasn't going particularly well for the Ukrainian government at the time the truce was reached, as the rebels had launched a counteroffensive chasing them out of the key portions of the territory of the Donetsk and Luhansk Oblast. The rebel vote is expected to install Alexander Zakharchenko as the new president of the People's Republic of Donetsk. Zakharchenko is a leader of the rebel movement already and an advocate of outright secession from Ukraine, saying he believes the Donetsk region could become a wealthy energy exporter along the lines of the United Arab Emirates. FPP Radio News is brought to you by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage. For over 35 years, Roberts & Roberts has been a trusted source for buying and selling your investment-grade precious metals. They now take Bitcoin for purchasing precious metals so you can turn your profits into a long-term investment. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on investing. 800-874-9760. The Washington Post reports when voters take to the polls today, they'll do more than elect representatives to pass laws on their behalf. They'll do some policy making of their own. Across 41 states and the District of Columbia, voters will weigh in on 147 ballot measures on issues ranging from minimum wage to marijuana legalization to the labeling of genetically modified foods to gun policy to taking on $18 billion in debt. If all 147 ballot measures are approved, 2 states and the District of Columbia will legalize cannabis for recreational use. 2 states will require genetically modified foods to carry labels indicating that fact. Gambling and gaming will be restricted in some states and allowed in others. Georgia will cap its income tax, and the state of Washington will simultaneously, paradoxically, both ban and require firearm background checks. Of course, not all measures will be approved. Nearly 1/4 of the questions on this year's ballot are citizen-led initiatives, a policy-making tool with roughly a 2 in 5 historical chance of passing, according to data compiled by the Initiative and Referendum Institute at the University of Southern California. Among the measures before voters in Oregon, Alaska, and Washington, D.C. will vote on different forms of cannabis legalization, as voters in Colorado and Washington famously did in 2012. Floridians will consider legalizing medical marijuana. Polling so far suggests there are no clear winners on those questions. Louisiana will allow voters to weigh in on 14 issues directly this year, more than any other state. New Mexico and North Dakota are tied for second with 8 questions each, including a controversial amendment to the North Dakota Constitution that would extend rights to the unborn. Maine, Oregon, and Rhode Island will each pose 7 questions to voters. ExpressCoin is the best choice for buying Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dogecoin, and more. ExpressCoin prides themselves on their customer service, so much so that the back end on the website should allow them to be even more focused on your needs. Get your cryptocurrencies with money order, check, wire transfer, or cash deposit. Get started at expresscoin.fppradio.com. That's expresscoin.fppradio.com. Reuters reports Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro announced on Monday a 15% increase in the minimum wage starting in December to protect workers from inflation of more than 60%. Maduro blamed soaring consumer prices on an economic war launched by foes of his socialist government, frequently accusing business executives of price gouging, hoarding, and speculating. Critics, though, say Venezuela's endemic inflation problem is evidence of the failure of the 15 years of socialist economics under Maduro and his late predecessor, Hugo Chavez. In the last data available, Venezuela's annualized inflation rate reached 63.4% in August, with consumer prices rising by 3.9% that month, according to the central bank. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.